In this video, we're going to factor using slide and divide. Slide and divide is a method you use when there's a number in front of your x squared term and you can't factor it out. You always try to factor it out first before you use this method. For example, if all of these terms were even, you could divide out a 2. Or if all of them ended in 0, you could divide out a 10. If you can't divide anything out, the next method is to use slide and divide. So the first step is you multiply a times c. A is in front of the x squared term and c is the last number. And then you rewrite it. So you've got x squared minus 7x minus 30. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to factor it as usual. A lot of people will make a chart and they'll ask what adds to negative 7 and multiplies to negative 30, and they'll stare at it for a few days. It's helpful to make a list. So if you start dividing and you grab your calculator and you just say, all right, 30 divided by 1 is 30. 30 divided by 2 is 15. 30 divided by 3, and literally just go divide numbers. This is the simplest way. And you just keep going. If you find a decimal, that's not going to work. You keep dividing. And then since this is a negative, one of these numbers has to be negative. And so I'm going to put a negative in front of all the second numbers because it's easier to do it on my calculator if I do 1 minus 30 rather than negative 1 plus 30. It really doesn't matter, but what we need to do is we need to just subtract them all and see which ones give you a negative 7. So in this case, if it's 3 minus 10, it's negative 7. And so that's the one we're going to use. So I'm going to rewrite my factors, and now I'm ready for my next step. I need to divide by a. A was the first coefficient of x squared, and that's what I multiplied by to start my problem, and now I'm going to divide by it. And then the last step is I'm going to simplify and slide. So the 2 and the 3 halves can't be simplified, and so I'm going to take the 2 and slide it out to the front, and it's going to become 2x plus 3. The next factor, the negative 10 over 2, can turn into negative 5, and so I'm going to just reduce that. And this is the answer. And that's how you use slide and divide. Slide and divide is not the only way to do these problems. You can also do them with grouping. It's just the fastest way.